Liberia, a country for years torn by civil war. Poverty rampant. Politics corrupt and unstable. But all is not lost. As the Civil War has ravaged the country, like a wildfire scorching the earth, the delicate sprouts of hope are growing once again.
Liberia!
This is Liberia. On Monday, March 4th, Pastor Gary and I boarded a plane for Monrovia, Liberia. Our mission was to reach out and continue to build the connection to the leadership and assess the state of our church there, Monrovia Christian Fellowship. The MCF project was started by John and Lee Gallinger in 1996 when they traveled to the Ivory Coast to wait for the Civil War to end. A civil war that would claim over 250,000 Liberian lives. While in the Ivory Coast, they discipled 12 Monrovian refugees that would become the core team of Monrovia Christian Fellowship. And in 1997, they began the church, meeting in homes. In 2001, construction began on the sanctuary with $300,000 that was made up of ECF's first fruits offering. Through much blood, sweat, and tears by John and Lee Gallinger and much of the Monrovia Christian Fellowship team, this would lay the groundwork for a thriving, life-giving church and school that would help change the lives of thousands of Liberians. We landed in Liberia on Tuesday night after 24 hours of traveling. With us, we brought 5 boxes of equipment, from drums to keyboards to laptops, all packed like an intricate puzzle by Mark Harpam. Pastor Momolu is the senior pastor at MCF, and he met with us at the airport with several others from the church. He has been the senior pastor at MCF for the last 9 years and in charge of the church since John and Lee handed him the reins and returned home in 2008. He would negotiate the customs fees with the airport officials, and then we hopped on the road for the 45-minute drive from the airport to Monrovia. After getting a good night's rest, on Wednesday we headed to the county of Kitma, about 2 hours northwest of Monrovia, to see the new piece of property that MCF has purchased there. The approximately 1-acre parcel is beautiful, located right on a bay with crystal clear water and a small beach. The parcel was bought for $2,400 of money raised entirely by MCF. The team has plans to build a boarding school on the property, as demand is high for places for parents to send their kids that are away from the turmoil of the city. Throughout the drive and during dinner that night, we got to hear Pastor Momolu share about his heart for the people and the work that is going on at MCF. On Thursday, we got a tour of the city and began to learn some of the history of Monrovia and Liberia. Liberia was set up as a country for America to bring back freed slaves who wished to return to Africa. The civil war that happened in the 80s and 90s in Liberia was much a result of the tensions that still exist between the groups descending from the freed slaves and the native people of Liberia. Thursday night, we attended MCF's midweek service and met with the worship team, and I began preparation for the music video project that I would work on over the course of the next week. On Friday, we woke up and we traveled to a new church that MCF has planted just outside of Monrovia. Pastor Davis shared stories of their successes so far in reaching out to the surrounding communities, and specifically using microfinancing to help women in the community start small businesses, and then, when the money is repaid, plus a small percentage of the profits, that portion is used to buy chairs for the church. On Friday night, I began work on filming the worship DVD for the new MCF worship album. Music videos, including Christian music, are very popular in Liberia, and they feel that this will be a great way to get the word out into the community about the gospel. The recordings and vocal talents were incredible. The soundtrack to this video is their worship CD. And their entire choir would end up showing up on 3 different days to film everything that we needed. Saturday morning, we hopped in the car and headed 3 hours southeast of Monrovia to Buchanan. There, MCF has started a 3rd church site. Pastor Gary prayed with and encouraged Pastor Eddie, and we drove to see 2 other sites where a permanent church building may be constructed in the future, there in Buchanan. We drove back to Monrovia, and again that night, I continued to work on the music video project while Pastor Gary met with some of the MCF leadership. Sunday morning, Pastor Gary and I addressed the congregation, and then Pastor Gary spoke at both services. During our time there, it was very apparent that MCF is excited to have a relationship with ECF, and both the pastoral staff and the congregation are wanting to continue and grow that relationship that was established by Pastor John and Lee. Many people in the congregation asked us to give our best regards to John, Lee, Jessica, and Daniel.
Hi, Sis Lee, Pastor John, Jessica, and Daniel. I love you.
Greet you guys. I hope you guys are doing good.
Sunday afternoon and evening was my most interesting day of filming for the music video, as we ventured out into some of the seedier parts of Monrovia to film some very interesting shots in an area called West Point near the docks. Monday, I spent much of the day at the elementary school and got the chance to see all the amazing work that's going on with the children there. The kids there are very well behaved, and they seem to be very happy to be going to school, and many of their faces shared their joy. Meanwhile, Pastor Gary went to the U.S. Embassy to try to help and secure a visa for Pastor Momolu and get some of the other MCF staff to come to Oregon in October for the MFI conference. Monday night, we filmed one more session for the music video, had dinner with all of the pastoral staff of MCF, and gave our final words of encouragement. Throughout our time in Liberia, it was readily apparent that Monrovia Christian Fellowship and Liberty Elementary School are flourishing, growing, and expanding under Pastor Momolu's leadership and under the grace of God. Pastor Momolu has a heart for God and a heart for the people, and the work that MCF is doing to reach out to Monrovia and the surrounding communities was truly exciting to see.
In December, we started this church here.
Also apparent was the work that John and Lee Gallinger poured into MCF and how God gave them a vision and the endurance to do His work to create this thriving church. And also their wisdom and thoughtfulness in creating a church that was able to not only thrive off of them, but also set the foundation to continue to grow and remain healthy after they have transitioned home. Tuesday, we wrapped up our work, said our final goodbyes, and hopped on the plane. On our way home, Pastor Gary and I stopped off for 2 days in Paris. It was snowing when we arrived, which was quite a contrast from the 93-degree high humidity weather that we had been experiencing in Liberia.
Feeling like you're in the depths of Hades itself to the Arctic region here.
We visited the Louvre, Napoleon's tomb, the Arc de Triomphe, the Notre Dame Cathedral, and of course the Eiffel Tower. Tuesday night, we got the chance to attend Mass at the Sacre de Coeur. It was certainly interesting to get to experience church in a giant cathedral, complete with a chamber choir. After a very short night's rest, we headed to the Charles de Gaulle airport and flew home. I'm very thankful and blessed to have the opportunity to get to make this trip, and I hope that all of you have caught a glimpse of everything that is going on in Monrovia. As we go forward, please pray that there would be peace and stability in their government, and that MCF will continue to grow and flourish as a stronghold in God's kingdom in West Africa.
Wonderful Savior, King of the world, we adore. We will praise you, Lord of creation, Maker of all the earth. We will serve you, 'cause you People, you know, everything is going wrong. Inside you hurting, outside you pretend it's cool. God knows your problem, so He sent His Son to set you free. Now He's knocking on the door. Let Him come inside. Knocking, knocking. God is knocking at your door. Knocking, knocking. Wanna make your heart His home. Knocking, knocking. Open up and let Him be. Knocking, knocking. Want to give the Lord a chance. People, you know, everything is going wrong. Inside you hurting, outside you pretend it's cool. God knows your problem, so He sent His Son to set you free. Now He's knocking on the door. Let Him come inside. Knocking, knocking. God is knocking at your door. Knocking, knocking. Wanna make your heart His home. Knocking, knocking. Open up and let Him be. Knocking, knocking. Want to give the Lord a chance.